So this is going to be a very, very different video than what you're used to from me, but I'm just going to try to connect with people out there because sometimes, you know, you feel like you're doing this whole YouTube thing correct, and then sometimes you feel like you're doing it wrong. I don't care about these arbitrary rules that have been set in place where we're not allowed to just be people and talk to other people. I mean, realistically, that's all YouTube is. It's just a collection of ideas and people who love things and that want to share them with others. And I'm no different. And you know, like, let's say this video doesn't blow up or it doesn't do well. I don't really care. I just want to share like kind of like my side of the story and like let people know who I am. And if that's not good enough, that's totally fine with me. The gameplay in the back, if you're wondering, is one of my most favorite games I've ever played ever. I've got a weird favorite list because it's just stuff that stuck in my mind. And like I've always been obsessed with it. And so my favorites list is not what anyone would consider like a good list. Okay, it's Blood and Magic. It's a great game. I wish they'd remaster it or let me buy the rights to it for fuck's sakes. But that's not why we're here, right? So I want to talk directly to the people who watch my stuff. I've got subscribers, I've got people who comment all the time, and it's been a really positive experience, except for the political stuff, which I did not even mean to get into. So I grew up Mennonite, okay? I didn't have a lot of access to a lot of these things. When I was living with my mother, she left the community. That's a different story. I started to be exposed to like movies and games and stuff like this. You have to understand that I chose to live with my grandmother and my uncle because my mother had drinking issues, okay? Again, if emotional stuff is not your bag, I totally understand. You can click out of the video. I'm going to tell my story directly to you guys and, you know, everything will just be what it is, okay? I lived with my grandmother and they, you know, they were Mennonite. And so I did that whole thing. Now, I know that previously you guys have heard me say that I'm a game designer. Yeah, one of the first things I got really obsessed with is video games, you know, and from my perspective, it's not going to be the same as yours because you've grown up with them. I didn't even have like a cell phone until I was like maybe 15. I didn't have my first smartphone until I was in my 20s. But I guess what I'm trying to say here is like video games for me are worlds to explore. It's like the ultimate version of art. Okay, it has every art that there is to experience in the world. Okay, I don't look at traffic and say, oh, I wish these people would get out of my way, I want to go this many hours. I'm just like, I look at traffic and go, well, we can spend a little bit more time out today, and as long as we make it where we're going and we survive, then it's a good day, right? It's not the same way other people look at things, and I understand that. It took me a long time to understand how different growing up in different places can be, especially if you're like somebody who grows up in some kind of provincial area or some kind of, you know, tribe, often wherever. Some of the ideas that you guys take for granted, that you think about, that you just think are so natural, are so wild. They're such wild ideas. They go well beyond what that we, I mean, I'm not trying to say that we're dumb or that we're something, but there's a certain level that when you're exposed to something fantastic in your mind is like very doable. Like if you grew up around, you know, Harry Potter, right? The idea of magic really isn't that crazy to you. Like almost it could exist, you know, in your mind. You go, oh, well, that's, you know, it's kind of believable. But like now take someone who's never seen even live magic before and put them in front of someone like that, and we'll get mystified by it. So I'm just trying to explain kind of like my process when I talk about game design and I talk about all this stuff, is that when I see games and when I see these things, I had a different reverence for it than you might. You know, you might take 2 seconds, look at a game and go, dog shit, don't care. Me, I want to know how it works. And so that curiosity really brought me up to a point where it's like, I want to learn. I want to see what's out there. I want to experience these things and I want to make these things. Now, when I was younger, no one told me how unrealistic that was. I saw games being made and all I thought was, if I learn the skills to do that, just like my woodworking, just like my stonecraft, just like any kind of, you know, masonry thing, if you learn the craft, then you can do the thing. Well, it's not exactly like that in some of these. It seems really easy to raise a goat from a baby and then learn how to make cheese and then do all those things. But when it comes to this kind of stuff, it's, you have to learn a separate language. Like, just follow me here. There's so many different aspects to game design that you have to learn in order to make a game. Okay, and it's almost like being a master of all the arts. And I think there is people, okay, who have mastered the arts and have made their own thing. I know that there's people out there who have produced their own games and it was they did it all on their own. But I think for some of us, that's unrealistic. No one told me when I was younger, it's unrealistic to do these things. So I had this expectation of, I learn the things, then I can do the craft. Well, that's not really necessarily how things played out. You can learn music, you got to learn writing, you got to learn marketing, you have to learn stuff that you just don't think of that you need. You have to learn these things in order to produce a video game. And, and then a 2D game versus a 3D game, you have to learn, more like spriting, or you have to learn 3D modeling, and you have to texture. And it's like all these jobs that I'm listing off would be full jobs for one person. And then when you put it all together, not only do you have to do that, but no one told me. I was naive. I think that's really what it comes back to is, I think Mennonite and Amish, if I've learned anything over the years, we're naive. We don't know when you're joking. We sometimes don't know how to tell certain social cues. We don't know, like, are we being made fun of? Is this a good situation, a bad situation? And the hard part is accepting to yourself that you can't do everything, right? And so this whole channel was basically built on the fact that I love these things. Now, I haven't been super successful in doing these things. I have made a few projects that have been well known. They've been seen by people, like it was on the stream of that Miskiff guy and that Greek god X, I believe, and they streamed some. That's the closest I've ever been to being famous, is they streamed one of the games that I worked on with my partner Snow. And I think when it comes down to it, I just think I've spent a lot of these last 10 years learning every single thing there is to do with games. And even I would say it's unrealistic for me to really sit down and produce something, because I want you to understand, when I'm on a team, I do exceedingly well. When I'm not and I am on my own, I think, for lack of a better way to explain it, I don't think that I have what it takes to come up with a good game idea and execute it perfectly. I know that I've seen the Undertales guy, and I say execute it perfectly. When you look at that, it's not executed perfectly, right? But it's executed in a perfect way for the people that play it, for the people who enjoyed it. It was done for them and it felt for them. And that's what I'm talking about when I talk about perfect execution. I'm talking about all those things. So my second passion is obviously movies. So this channel is a balance of those two things. Okay, sorry I say stuff weird. I am at a point in my life where I don't really care about the social balancing of all this. I just want to put this video out there for like the people who actually do give a shit about me and about what I'm trying to do on this channel. Maybe you'll get some kind of glimpse into like, who is Matthias? Who is he? And that's my real name, by the way, Matthias. The channel is called Mattkaustik because Matthias just means Matthew, where, I've got a Dutch-German background. What else? Talking about myself feels disgusting. I know I made this video with the express purpose of doing that, but it's just now setting in how gross it feels to like honor myself. I don't know. But that's how we're taught, right? So I gotta get over that. I just want to say that for everybody watching, I'm obsessed with movies. I like movies that explore worlds and put you into, different whole worlds. Even if the movie's not that good. And that goes with like indie games. It's the same thing. You can respect someone's attempt to do something. And I think that's why we're so harsh on these big studios. It's because with all your resources and all your time and all your money, you still manage to kind of crap in our mouths. And I know that's a visceral thing, but hey, I'm just saying it's true. We've all been there. And it gets very tiring, because I think people just want good pieces of entertainment that bring us to these special places in our lives. And that's something else that we do, like, I really want to stress. Most of the time when I'm talking about something that I care about, it's because it came at a special point in my life. And it means something to me, even if it's just a movie or just a game. Those are memories that I had. Okay, I'm getting choked up here because I just thought of something. But anyway, no, I will talk about it. I will talk about it. One of the things before my mother died, one of the things that I think about often is, we played Kingdom Hearts, the first one, together. And, when I talk about stuff like that, I know that it pisses people off sometimes, where they go, oh, well, this thing really wasn't that good. And it's like, yes, I totally get that. I'm not saying that the stuff that I talk about is that good, but it's something that shares a special place in me, and I want to share that with other people. And there's no better way to say it than just exposing people to stuff that they have not seen before. And I don't know if I'm doing a very good job of doing that, but I do know this is stuff like that where, me and my mother shared that moment, and she showed me EverQuest, and EverQuest shares, I think, the same spot in that there were times when, before my mother died, that she was a good person, even with the drinking. And I just want to say that some of those moments, yeah, they involved games. They involved movies. And whether, because I understand the hate comments, guys. I'm not an idiot. I understand that sometimes, like, when you're sitting there and you're looking at like a review or you're looking at something, I understand it's very easy to let yourself just not see me as a person, or just not see me as worth the time even. But like, I read and I respond to 100% of comments. And I'll just say this, I get where it's coming from. Most of my recommendations are things that I find special, even though maybe others don't. Okay, I started this channel and that's one of the other main points of this video. Started the channel to share those things with other people. Whether you hate them or whether you don't hate them, that is totally fine. And I personally, I am okay with either. At the end of the day, we're all just individual people. We have our own tastes and preferences. I don't think any piece of media out there is going to please 100% of people. And that's okay. I think everyone has their own particular style. But for me, though, like I said, with the Kingdom Hearts thing and the EverQuest thing, I was introduced to those by my mother, okay? And those kind of memories, they're hard to replace. And I want this channel to be all those things. I'm really trying not to get choked up here, guys. I'm sorry. But I will say this. I've got my links to the Discord down there. I know that my content isn't overproduced and it's not whatever, but it is real. Okay? I'm not just making these to get clicks. I'm making these to share this, and hopefully somebody out there, there's a particular audience that I am looking for. I'm looking for people who care about the same stuff that I care about. That's it. And when I share something and that person, I get the comments that make my day. Some of those comments will be like, oh man, I remember watching this when I was a kid and I love this thing. That's what I'm here for, okay? Nothing else. So at the end of the day, I do get the complaints. I do get all that stuff, but nothing can ever replace those times in our lives. But we can make new ones and make new memories always. Like, you're not stuck in the past. And that's part of like what this channel is if we can build like a community around this where we really push, forward into the future with the mindset of like building a community of people who care about games and movies. Because I'm obsessed. I'm not gonna stop. I'm older now. I am 32. There seems to be a limit. Apparently, this arbitrary limit where we should just stop doing the things we love because we're too old. And I don't really agree with that. I think that every time I watch a new movie that makes me think a little bit different, I think that's worth it. And that's really where I'm going with this. I think that with enough people who care about the same things in the same Discord or the same channel, we can cultivate this kind of like atmosphere where we can produce recommendations that are more not based on just this website told me this was a good movie, or this website told me that, you know, like Disney did a thing and now I can't watch this. It's like, why don't we base it on like, do we really love this thing? And if you do, share it. And that's what I encourage you all to do. If like you're actually watching this video, which trust me, let's be honest, people don't watch these videos. Okay. You know what I mean? People don't watch these videos. People don't give a shit about these videos. But like for the people who do that are on the channel that I see your comments, just know that like I give a shit about those comments. I love reading those comments. That's why I reply to every single one of them. Even if it's a hateful comment or even if it's not, I have set out to say I'm going to reply to every comment, and that's just it. And I've seen some of y'all's lists and I've added them to my lists. Some of these recommendations that I get from you guys, I've never seen before. So just understand that I'm open to anything and everything. Mainly what it tends to fall to is I love movies that explore ideas and worlds that haven't been explored. Now, I know that's cheesy and cliche and stupid because like everyone says everything's already been done. But at the same time, I kind of feel like new movies are being made all the time. New books are being written. I just watched The Silo, okay? And I know this is so off topic, right? For this video. But I would say that I'm glad that I found that. I think there's still stuff worth watching and still pushing for, even in 2025. Even though most people would disagree that they say like, you know, the good times are gone and whatever. I think for me specifically, nah. Like, I think there's some, I believe it's worth it to keep moving forward. And, you know, my household and my life changed a lot. So just so we're clear, because I feel like I need to address this. Mennonites are not Amish, okay? And depending on what kind of community you live in, we had a family community, which means it was just really just family. And, you know, if someone got married, you would come back to the land and live. Okay. And it was family. And, you know, most of my family's gone now and it sucks, but that is the reality of life. And there's no need to, you know, it does suck, but I think, you know, losing everyone at such a young age, just, it is what it is. Nothing can fix that. But when you're in the Mennonite community, family does mean a lot. And not having family did kind of put me on this weird path of, you know, now you're alone. You're taught your whole life, really, that you live and die under the family. Well, what if you're the last one left? You know? So I want to explain about like Mennonite stuff is like we can drive, okay? We can watch TV. We can have phones, but it really depends on what community you're in. One of the communities I know of requires that you don't listen to the radio and that you don't have a TV, but they still use power, and that's totally fine. Then some, like, you can drive, but you have to drive an all-black vehicle. And in that one I just talked about, you can drive, but when they say no radio, they mean remove the radio in your car as well. So, you know, I get it. People who didn't grow up like that don't really understand the benefit of living in that type of way or that type of community. But I will say it's given me a different perspective on life. I don't think it was like something that should be like thrown away. But I think if you guys have questions, like just ask, right? And I'll answer you. Now, I haven't been practicing, you know, Mennonite for years, and I would say I'm a bad Mennonite, but to be honest, a lot of Mennonites would say that they're not great Mennonites. A lot of Amish would say that they're not great because they think they can always, you know, be better than they are. And, you know, that's true in certain ways. But I just, if you guys have questions, I'm open to talking about it. It's just what I have to say might not, what you have to understand is it might not apply to everybody, because Mennonites aren't just one people and Amish aren't just one people. Every community has its own rules and own lifestyles, own things that they wear, that they all agree to, because it has a kind of cohesion that kind of keeps the community together when everybody's on the same page. That's really what it's about. But I will say this, when I was growing up, we moved farther away from the Mennonite stuff, and we started to have, you know, more things. And one of the things is that me and my uncle bonded over was movies. And so now that he's dead, you know, that's the thing. Like, this channel really is built on the spirit of the people I've lost, and I want to pass on as much experiences and things that I can, even though people don't see it that way. That's like just a movie, just a game. I totally get that. But I think there was something special about the times when my grandmother finally got a Super Nintendo, and, you know, me and her playing that together. And then, you know, when we got the TV, me and her used to watch TV together. And we used to watch old black and white musicals, and we used to watch Golden Girls on Lifetime, and we used to watch like cooking shows. And it's just like, I don't know if other people have those same experiences, but I would say for me, they were deeper. I think for me, they were a different experience because I didn't have access to a lot of that stuff. It felt different than just, oh, I'm gonna go watch TV with this person. It never really felt the same when other people talked about it than how I felt about it. So like when my grandmother got her Super Nintendo, we played a lot of like Donkey Kong. We played a lot of like Tetris Attack. She used to whoop my ass at Tetris Attack. To be fair, I was very bad at it. I'm not bad at it anymore. I'm okay. My friend Travis can tell you. But we played a lot of, you know, like all the Donkey Kongs, okay? So like when I hear like the Donkey Kong music, for me, it's like reliving the times that I got to spend with my grandmother. And guys, believe me, if I could trade everything in the world just to be with them one last time, I would. But you know, that's not realistic, right? And so all I have is these memories. And what I try to do with these videos is just bring the same kind of spirit and the same kind of thing to like pass on to other people. Because I don't know who's watching, right? I don't know who's watching this stuff and watching me and going like, you know, I'm glad I watched that today. I'm glad I had that experience. And then they go on to, maybe it's a movie they haven't seen. I mean, you can make an effect in another person's life even though you didn't mean to. Like for my uncle and my grandmother, if they were alive still, maybe they would say, oh, it wasn't that big of a deal. But to me, it was. And I think to a lot of people, I'm sure some people can relate to what I am saying. But if you can't, I totally get it. This video is not for everybody. It really is just for these niche amount of people that you know, they talk about like building an audience on YouTube. Well, I know what audience I want, and it just so happens the stuff that I love is stuff that I've been chasing my whole life, that I've grew closer to the people in my life while watching and doing and all that stuff. And I'm not kidding. My grandmother used to beat my ass at Tetris Attack, guys. She was a monster. She was so good at that game. I'm probably still only like half as good as she was, and I'm pretty good. But man, we definitely, in the Mennonite stuff, we definitely have board games. I love board games. I love, you know, I love a lot of art and media stuff now. But you know, if I asked myself when I was younger, what would I be doing with my life? I'd probably say land development, you know, like something. And guys, I want to address something else. I get it. You know, people see my appearance and they just think, what a fat idiot. I get it. I look different. That is totally fine. I understand that. I am not a model. I am not beautiful or like picture whatever. I kind of look like a hamster. I get that. I look like a Jack Black impersonator. I get these comments. It is okay for you to feel like that. But I don't know. I'm at this point where I'm just like, it was funny in the beginning, but it's like, Jesus Christ, guys. Like, I get it. I'm fat. That's fine. You're allowed to be fat. You're allowed to be skinny. You're allowed to be ugly. You're allowed to be pretty. No one should be on people's case about this. Like, I think it would be better if people made more fun of themselves and just accepted that, like, you know, your spirit is in this body. Like, it is what it is, you know? Like, how you feel about yourself, you should take that and just figure it out. Because people can say whatever they want, but if you genuinely, like, care about yourself and don't care, it's a lot more helpful. Because, like, these guys don't really care. The people saying this don't really care whether you live or die. But like in reality, like just because you're someone who doesn't look the best in the world doesn't mean you don't have anything to contribute, and it doesn't mean you're not, and we learn that as Mennonites. Your looks can change. You're gonna get old, you're gonna get fat, you're gonna whatever. Hey, you might get skinny. You might just decide that I want to be skinny, so you go and do it. You could, yeah, or you just do whatever the fuck you want, because it's your body and it's your life. The same reason why in the Mennonite culture, we don't tell anybody to do what we do. We're not recruiting, okay? We don't think that any person should tell other people like what to do, all right? And that's the biggest thing, because I hear it all the time. Unfortunately, Mennonites are lumped in with these kind of like hostile Christian groups, I guess I would call them. Now, I wasn't really taught the difference between all the different little factions of Christianity. There's way too many, okay? There's way too many. But essentially, just so we're clear, Mennonites just do what they do, and they don't bother nobody. It's the same with Amish. They don't really care. Like, I don't smoke or drink, but if you did, that's fine. That is you. That's on you. That is your thing. We shouldn't say anything about it. But I will say, if you've noticed a theme in my videos, I hate people who lie, okay? And that is not something I can get over. That is a character flaw. It does this thing in my head, and I'm annoying. So I just don't like people who lie. It's really annoying, and I can't get over it. I just prefer everyone just be like really truthful. Just be you, So this video has gone on long enough. You're right. But I guess I wanted to make it so that I'm speaking directly to the people that are my audience. And hopefully that means that you guys will like the channel more. I don't know what, but I'm just talking to those people who do comment regularly and do watch all my videos to just say like, hey, this is why I'm doing it, and send me more movie links, please. I will watch them. I will do reviews on them, please. I'm using you guys as a search engine. I'm tired of looking on my own. You send me your shit. But, again, if this was an uncomfortable video, I think that's fine. This is not the channel for you. That's totally fair. It's like, it's my channel. I get to decide who I want here, and who I want is just people who love things and aren't sorry about it. If you love something, whether that's a game, a movie, a book, don't be fucking sorry about it, and don't let other people bully you into feeling like you can't love something like that. These people who wrote these things poured their heart and souls into worlds that they crafted in their own minds, and we get to live them through their work. And I think when you look at like Lord of the Rings and stuff, you have to say like, thank you. Because they really gave up a part of their life, their time, with their loved ones and with the world around them to craft these pieces for us, whether we like them or not. Okay, whether a big Hollywood studio screws them up or not. And that's something that we can all, if you want a big takeaway from this, that's a good takeaway. Do what you love, and don't be sorry. And, I'm making a community for it here, where join the fucking Discord, please. We need more people to join the Discord. Be more active. I gotta know what channels you guys want, which ones you don't, and kind of build out just a community that loves media and stuff like that. And, not just I watch a Disney movie, but really like, hey, I love this thing and I'm not sorry about it. That's the kind of community that I think I really want. And how about this gameplay, man? I love it. I love this game, and I'm not sorry about it. That's today's topic. But anyway, hopefully you enjoyed it. Join the community. Tell me what you think, and if you want to just comment fat again, that's fine too. That's on you, buddy. Thank you.